All right, now explain your name. Where'd your name come from?
From boxing in the amateurs. I used to always, I used to put that work in, you know what I'm saying? So they just started calling me Rock, you know what I mean? That's kind, and it just kind of stuck, you know what I mean? At first I went through like a lot of names, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to find myself, so.
What were some of them?
Oh man, first I called myself Super, you know what I mean? I had a ton of them, man, you know what I'm saying? And I just couldn't resonate with one of them. And then finally, somebody had said, yeah, Rock, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah,
Now,
Rock.
that's your nickname, but what about your real name? Where does your real name come from?
I have a Hebrew name.
Okay.
I'm Nigerian and Bantu. So the origins of my culture is Hebrew. So I have a Hebraic name.
And what's the meaning behind that name? Why'd your parents call you that name? Out of all the Hebrew names they could have chosen.
Yeah, Yahu Gabriel means Yahuwah's messenger. So that's Hebraic name. So yeah, that's what it means. So.
Now, where are you from?
Baltimore.
Still living there?
Still living there.
Now, what's your opinion of the state of boxing in Baltimore?
Man.
Is there a culture or a world for it over there, or?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. If you really want to be successful in boxing, you gotta move out and and venture out and start dealing with some people, all over the state, all over the country. I even went overseas. You know what I mean? So, boxing, boxing's already a shiesty business. You know what I mean? It's a grimy business. So, Baltimore is definitely good. It's a lot of talent there, but just not the political aspects that you need to get to where you're going.
Now, what was it like for you growing up in Baltimore? Paint the picture for us.
Baltimore, rough city, man. You know what I'm saying? So, it's the hate there is extreme. You know what I'm saying? If you got $5 more than somebody else, you know what I'm saying? They out to get you. So it was tough, man. But Baltimore has a lot of talent, though. Like I said, has a whole lot of talent. I think we just don't have the outlets to, to maximize the potential there. So, but it's tough, man. We grew up, struggling, like most people. So boxing was like, the way out for me,
With the struggle that you speak of, what was your toughest or roughest experience with dealing with the struggle?
It was a lot of times we didn't have food, That was one of the biggest things. Just food, you know what I'm saying? So, I was running around just trying to get that, you know what I mean? So, did some things and, ain't too proud of, but we had to do it to survive,
When did boxing start for you?
When I was 7.
How'd you get into it?
I just had a passion for it, and I came to my mother asking her could she put me in boxing, and at first she wasn't feeling it at all, But I started doing it on my own, and I started competing, and it just kept going, never stopped.
Now, most kids, when it comes to sports, and about that age, 7, like you said, that's when you got into boxing, they're into football. They're into basketball.
Right.
I would probably think those would be a lot more popular of a sport to choose to get into than boxing. So how did you specifically get into it? Did somebody introduce you to it? Did you find it and just research it and get into it? Or somebody push you towards it?
Well, I was always like a little Power Ranger around the house, So, I was always running around and jumping off stuff and, punching and kicking. So it was just one of those things that was always in me. And so, I was just fascinated with the sport and with the discipline. So I just picked it up. Yeah.
When I listen to a lot of other boxing interviews, there's usually like a family member that's intertwined into the lifestyle somehow. Maybe it's somebody that introduces that that person to boxing or ends up being a trainer for that person. You know, you definitely see the father-son duo a lot of times in boxing.
Right.
Did that happen for you too, or no?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I started from ground zero, from scratch. You know what I'm saying? There was no athletes in my family, and I was the first athlete. And you know, nobody even had vision in my family. You know what I mean? So, you know, we came up. You know, it was like, you know, get a job so you can try to survive. You know what I mean? That was like the, you know, how our family had taught us. You know. So I was like one of the first ones that was kind of like thinking outside the box, like, you know, I don't want to work 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think there's much better to life than just, you know, being employed for the rest of your life.
So now, how does boxing work for you? At 7, you get into it, and then as you develop in age, how serious do you take the sport throughout your upbringing?
At first, it was just fun.
Right.
You know, I didn't see it as a career. I looked at it like, you know, this is just fun. This is just what I love to do. You know, it was a great hobby, and that was it. But then I started, as I got older, I started realizing that, like, you know, I can make a living off of this. You know what I mean? I can make a good living off of it. So then it started becoming more and more serious to me.
What age was this?
Probably about 17.
Okay.
I started thinking like, there might be a future to this, you know.
Before high school was over for you? After high school was over for you?
Probably right after high school.
Now, what type of student were you in school?
Class clown. Yeah, class clown.
Not the athlete of the year?
You know what? I went to gym. I did go to gym. You know what I'm saying? And I had good grades in gym, but everything else, I was just trying to graduate. You know, I was just trying to pass. I wasn't trying to be no, you know, super scholar or nothing like that.
Did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school.
Tried college?
Tried college, yeah.
What happened with that?
I was drawing in class on the paper, cartoon characters.
So you quit?
I quit.
What year? Freshman, sophomore?
Freshman, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, somebody looking at this, hearing your story, what do you say to somebody just getting out of high school thinking about enrolling into college? Because there's several different options for one to think about. Some people say you need college. Some people say you don't need college. Some people say a trade school is cool.
Right.
Some people will say, you know, they'll drop out of college and end up being successful anyways, regardless, like somebody like Bill Gates, for example.
Right, right.
And some people go to school, get a degree, and end up having a totally different career path than they got a degree in.
That's true.
Not even doing a job they got a degree in.
That's true.
So what's your opinion to somebody thinking about doing something with their life, maybe enrolling into college as an option? What do you tell that person with all those different options?
I think it depends on the individual. I think that we all, you know, have different gifts and talents, and I think that, you know, all of us learn differently, you know. So I guess it depends on the individual. I think, I think just a regular 9 to 5 is for somebody who doesn't have any creativity. You know, I think that's for somebody who's, you know, just trying to travel the road of mediocrity. You know, you're just trying to pass through life. But and there's still nothing wrong with going to college to advance your craft. You know what I mean? But I think, I think the main thing that we should focus on is how can we be entrepreneurs? You know what I mean? How can we build brands? How can we build businesses? I think that's what we should aim for. And if you're going to go to school for that, I think that's wonderful. I think going to school just to get a job, I don't knock it, but it's not for me.
Now, did you make the right decision? Do you, looking back, hindsight 2020, do you wish you never even attempted college? Do you wish maybe you did a little bit more college under your belt, or did you make the right decision looking back at yourself?
I think I made the right decision. Because, I'm making more money now than I would have made even with a degree.
Jobs you had growing up, if any?
Yeah, I used to work at Zales Jewelers, Burger King, Atrium Village. It was like a nursing home. I got fired from there. Taught over some tartar sauce. Long story. But yeah, those are my little high school jobs.
Any crazy stories dealing with any of those jobs? Anything out of the norm?
Yeah, when I was at the nursing home, got fired because this old guy kept asking me for tartar sauce, and he was kind of disrespectful, and then I was young, so I let him have it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, are both parents in your life?
No, it's just mom.
Just mom.
Yeah, she passed.
And she passed. What's your relationship with your father?
He left when I was 2, and he got hooked on drugs. Well, my father was a drug dealer first, and then he eventually got on his own supply, and then it was downhill from there.
No communication with him.
No communication. No.
Now, what about siblings?
Yeah,
Are you the only child, or?
No, I have a brother.
You have a brother.
Yeah, he's here.
Anybody else into boxing in your family, or just you?
Just me.
Now, when did your mom pass? What age?
She was 50. That was about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was she supportive of your boxing career path, or
oh, yeah.
when she was alive?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she was probably one of the few people in my family who actually believed in me.
So she's been to a couple fights and seen you.
Oh yeah. She's
Go
been
at
there
it?
from day one. Yeah.
Now, speaking of high school and you being into boxing,
Mm-hmm.
could that have been a scholarship to college for you? Was that even a possibility, or is that not even?
No.
Do they even give scholarships for boxing?
No, not at all.
But it is an Olympic sport, though,
yes,
correct?
Yes, yeah. Wrestling you could get a scholarship for
correct.
in high school, but not for boxing.
Now, what about the Olympic route? Could that have been a route for you, or not really?
I had considered it at one point in time. Matter of fact, when I was boxing amateur, a lot of the guys who was mentoring me at the time, they was trying to get me to go that route. They were saying, look, you need to stay in the amateurs, and then try to go to the Olympics. But we needed money at the time. Back to the food thing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So we needed money. So I had to turn pro.
You had to turn pro. Okay. Now, aspiring boxers looking at this interview, what's your recommendation on turning pro? Did you feel like you made the right decision at that time to turn pro? Do you wish you waited a little bit longer before you signed, or do you wish you would have went to the Olympic route?
Yeah, I wish I did. I wish
Okay.
I did. I should have waited. But at the time I needed the money, and moms needed the money. So I just did what I had to do. Yeah.
Understandable. Now, when it comes to speaking of your mother, respectfully,
Yeah.
what do you think's the worst thing you put her through?
When I was running the street back in the day, I think I was just dealing with a lot of anger, pops not being around, all of that stuff. So I put it through it, growing up in Baltimore, I was trying to be baddest man, walking, you know what I mean? But she just kept praying for me, and I apologized to her, for all the, the hurt that I had put her through during that time.
How did she end up passing, if you don't mind me asking?
A doctor had messed up on a procedure and killed her.
What kind of procedure was it?
She had pneumonia, and he was trying to, she had a little bit of fluid on her lungs. They was trying to drain that fluid, but during that process, they punctured her lung, and it killed her.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it.
Now, what's your message to the youth overall speaking? I mean, we talked about a variety of subjects so far about your upbringing, but just in general, what's your message to the youth?
Well, number one, we gotta stop attacking each other. I think that we need to build each other, not break each other down. And number two, we just need to work hard towards, all of our goals and all of our dreams. And it's going to be difficult. I don't want nobody to think that it's easy, because it's not. But it's worth it. You know what I mean? So if we can do that, I think that'll put us, in the right direction as far as the youth.
You mentioned Ali. Was he your only boxing influence, or did you have other boxing influences?
I like Sugar Ray Leonard. I like Floyd Mayweather. I like Floyd for different reasons, though.
Explain.
I disagree with a lot of stuff Floyd do, a lot of stuff Floyd has done, but you got to give it to him for three things. A, he's made the most money in boxing. B, he has successfully left boxing with all 5 senses. And C, he's won over 13 world championships. So at the end of the day, you got to give it to him. You got to give it to him.
Was Ali your favorite boxer out of everybody?
Yes. Yeah.
Who do you think the best boxer ever was?
Man, I would have to say Ali.
Okay.
I had to say Ali.
Because sometimes the best might not be your personal favorite, so I was just curious.
Yeah, I had to say Ali.
Now, what weight class are you in now?
I'm a cruiserweight.
Have you been that way for a long time, or have you just gotten into that?
I just grew into cruiserweight not too long ago.
Okay. Do you have aspirations of being in any other weights, or are you?
I think this is it for me.
Going to focus on that.
Yeah.
Now, for somebody that's maybe not familiar with boxing, but watching the interview, obviously people know heavyweight, welterweight, stuff like that. Those are, pretty commercial
weight classes.
Weight classes. Explain the cruising weight.
The cruiserweight is right below heavyweight. It's between 190 and 200 pounds. So if we all there's weight classes in boxing. So the fight would take place at that weight. That's a cruiserweight.
Who's been the most successful or the most popular people would know of that weight class?
Evander Holyfield.
Okay.
He was probably the hottest cruiserweight in recent years. And then you got David Haye, who came behind him and kind of like in our generation.
Now, what's your fitness regimen like?
Oh man, we put that work in every day. Every day. I try to give myself about 2 days of rest, but for the most part, every single day.
How many hours a day do you spend in the gym?
I say maybe between 3 and 4 a day. Yeah.
3 and 4 a day.
Yeah.
Now, what about as far as trainers? You have different trainers?
Yes.
You have one trainer? How does that work?
Yes, I have different trainers. I have a trainer for conditioning, a trainer for boxing. I have different trainers,
I see. And then when it comes to, working out or exercising, stuff like that, what's your favorite exercise or your favorite part of your workout regimen to do? What do you look forward to the most?
All the boxing stuff. Yeah, I love to spar, love to, punch the bags, I love to get down to the contact.
What's the least favorite? What's one thing you have to do but you just hate doing?
Running. Running gets boring, Running gets boring, but gotta do it.
Now, what about your diet regimen? How does that work?
I eat pretty clean. I still like snacks, though. So candy, chips, Yeah.
What do you cheat with? I mean, when you have a cheat day or a cheat thing to go to, what do you cheat with the most?
Like fruit snacks, like Gushers, fruit roll-ups. That's my thing. I love them since I was a kid. Yeah.
Now, how many years would you say you've been perfecting your boxing craft for before you got signed?
20-something years. Yeah, 20-something years.
And who are you currently signed with?
Well, my manager is a guy named Josh.
Okay.
And another guy named Andrew.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember your first fight?
Yeah.
Did you win or lose?
I lost it.
Your first initial fight, period.
Yeah, my debut, I lost it. I had broke my hand and was dealing with some dehydration issues. I had a bad management at that time, very bad management.
And then, and that's been your only loss?
My only loss. Yeah.
Was your first debut fight?
My first debut, yeah.
Now, what's the bar for boxers? Or maybe for you, is it the money? Is it the record?
For me, it's about legacy, and of course, the money, because you gotta live. And the record, I don't think the record means too much, you know, because, you know, the old school fighters, they didn't care about that, you know, they just wanted to, you know, to fight, you know. I think that now that boxing has a lot more theatrics to it, the record is like super important now. You know what I mean? Floyd kind of made the being undefeated thing popular. You know what I mean? But none of the great fighters were undefeated. You know what I mean? Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson. You know what I mean? Ali, Foreman. You know what I mean? None of these guys were undefeated, and they were warriors.
Now, what about fighting outside the ring? Has that happened before?
Yes.
Now, are your are you even allowed to engage in something like that? Are your hands considered a deadly weapon at this point?
Yes, my hands are registered, yes.
So how does that work? If somebody wants to pick a fight with you, and maybe they don't even know you're a boxer, maybe they just get into some type of conflict. I mean, maybe you're mailing off a package on Christmas, or for somebody, I mean, I know you don't celebrate Christmas, I was just using that as an example, but let's say you're sending off a gift at the post office.
Yeah.
You bump into somebody who's there first, maybe you felt like you cut in line, and wants to pick a fight with you. How does somebody like you deal with something like that?
I would try my best to de-escalate the situation. You know, I'm not I don't look for trouble, you know, but if it go down, it go down, you know.
Now, what can happen is, what are the, I guess, since your hands are registered and you get into a fight or something like that, what can happen because of that?
Well, you know, they can, you know, of course, try to press charges, and you know, at worst, I could lose my boxing license, you know, of course, and still, you know, you can go to prison, but you know, in a situation like that, you know, you gotta just make sure you got good lawyers.
Good lawyers.
Good lawyers, yeah.
Now, okay, what about when it comes to training for a fight? How long does that been taking you currently? Like, how often do you fight? You're currently 15-1, right?
Correct.
So how long do you train before an actual fight? What's the time length at this point?
I train all year round, so I'm one of them guys that don't have to get ready. I kind of stay ready, but on average, you know, you need 8 weeks before you go into a fight.
Now, how does the sex thing work?
Oh, that's a good question. It's different for different people. You know, I've heard some guys say a week. I've heard some guys say a month. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's 7 days.
7 days.
7 days, yeah.
And does that include, you know, rubbing one out as well? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, can't
do none of that.
Can't do none of that. Can't rub one out. You can't, you know, get with your girl. None of that.
Now, how fast after the fight is over does intercourse happen?
Immediately. Immediately. You know what I'm saying? I don't be trying to do nothing. You know, no partying or none of that. Immediately.
Now, when it comes to fighting and being in the ring, what's more important for you, a great exciting fight or actually winning the fight?
You gotta find the medium of both. You know what I mean? So you want to win, but you also want to be exciting. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta find that, but you don't want to be so exciting that, you know, you get yourself hurt. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So so you gotta find out how can I be effective and give the fans what they want to see, and still come out of here, fully intact.
Now, when you come out to the ring and you're ready to fight, is it a different song all the time that you come out to? Or
different song every time, yeah.
What have been some of the songs you've come out to previously?
DMX, Jay-Z, I like Ace Hood now. Yeah, I'll probably do a little bit of Kendrick Lamar in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to some of your boxing matches, like we said previously, you're 15-1. Has anybody been a personal friend of yours that you fought in the ring?
No, because my boss was overseas.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't even know any of those guys.
I see.
You know what I mean?
All the 15-1's been overseas?
Yeah. I did a tournament over there. It's an international boxing league.
Any American fights coming up soon?
Yes. Yes. We're trying to do something in January. Pretty much next year we're going to be pretty active. Pretty active, yeah.
Okay, now your first loss was your debut fight.
Mm-hmm.
How does one handle a boxing loss? Give me, the moments after, the next day after, the week after, what goes on?
It was tough. It was tough because the guy that I fought, I had the skill to beat him. Just didn't have the, my body and stuff just wasn't there that night. So it was tough, and then, but you got to pick yourself. If you're a real champion, you got to pick yourself.
Because I've always wondered that, like even when I watch a boxing match on pay-per-view or, HBO, whatever,
yeah.
You see the fight is over,
Yeah.
the guys, one's boastful, the other guy might be hurt or whatever, and there's a little commentary and then it's over.
Right.
But you don't see what happens beyond the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Those moments after when they got to go see their family or their significant other and what that conversation's like and family conversation, depression,
Oh, yeah.
You don't see any of that.
Oh, yeah. It goes on heavy. I mean, because, a lot of guys pour their heart and soul into training
Especially
for these
like
fights.
you said, 8 weeks before the fight.
Yeah. You know what I mean? All the blood, the sweat, the tears, all the punches they took in training camp, you know what I mean? All the bruises, bangs, and then to go through all of that and then not reach the goal. You know what I mean? So it can be depressing. It can be depressing, but if you're a true champion, you'll bounce back.
How does one handle a win?
Oh, the win is always beautiful.
I mean, is there a certain ritual you do after you win, or you've won 15 times, right? So, what do you do after you win? What's the first thing you do? What's the conversation like? Who are you calling? Who's seeing you?
Yeah, normally, you want to. For me, I just kind of want to be around the people that I love and care about, and I want to eat some food that I haven't been able to eat, and of course, hook up with my lady, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. That's for me. I'm not a big party guy. Yeah, so I don't need to hit the club or none of that.
Okay, now out of the 15-1 record, how many have been knockouts?
12 of them.
Do you ever feel bad for knocking somebody out?
The last time I felt bad was in the amateurs. I knocked a guy out and he had like a seizure or something, and I felt bad. And my coaches was like, don't feel bad, Like, he came here to hurt you today. So it is, it's just business.
Now, when it comes to the sport of boxing, the boxing industry, what bothers you the most about it at this point? What's your biggest pet peeve with it, if anything?
Boxing is a dirty business. You know what I mean? Dirty business. So you gotta be on point, you know what I mean? So boxing, like the rap game, you know what I mean? So there's not even a real governing body in boxing, you know what I mean? Like boxing is ran by gangsters, you understand what I'm saying? So, so you gotta put together a good team, you know what I mean? You gotta get with people that know what they're doing, you gotta get with people who can read a contract, you know what I mean? So if not, then they will take you for a ride.
I mean, I can't remember where I seen this, but I think you mentioned Sugar Shane, right?
Sugar Ray or
Sugar Ray. You mentioned Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I seen something about Sugar Shane Mosley talking about how he was offered to throw a fight before.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
That happens. Some of these guys is locked into contracts, and maybe they owe these promoters money. You know what I mean? Owe these promoters millions of dollars or whatever the case may be, and they want out. So the promoter may feel like, okay, if you want out, I need to get this money that you owe, before you leave. So here's what we gonna do, You gonna fight, but you gonna do this and this, so I can get my money, and then I'll let you out your contract. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes that happens, not often, because that's illegal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? If you get caught, that's like jail time. You know what I'm saying? So that's not something that's seen a lot, but it does happen.
Okay. Now, what's your opinion when it comes to boxing and some of these fighters not fighting people in their prime?
Yeah, these guys try to protect their records now. You know what I mean? That's like the new hot thing in boxing. You know, oh, he's 30-0, he's 50-0. You know what I mean? Where back in, like I said, Ali and them time, you know, they just wanted to be the best. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference, you know.
Now, there's a gentleman in UFC or MMA fighting. I can't remember his name. Conor.
Conor, yeah.
Right.
I like Conor.
He's looking to get into the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that move?
I think Conor got hands. I think he has hands. I think that he's biting off a little more than what he could chew. Talking about he wants to fight Floyd. You know, I was like, you know, you might want to, you know what I mean, fight some of these up and coming, you know what I'm saying, before you just jump out there and say you want to fight Mayweather. You know what I mean? Floyd's one of the best pound for pound fighters of this era. You know, and you just want to, you haven't had one professional fight, you just want to go fight Floyd. You know, when you haven't had one professional boxing match, you want to go fight Floyd. It's gonna be cake for Floyd.
Do you think Floyd, I mean, regardless of whatever happens with Conor, do you think he'll ever come out of retirement for one more fight, or do you think he'll hold on to that record as it is?
I think Floyd will come out to fight Conor because it just makes business sense. You know what I mean? Floyd likes money, and you know, if enough money's on the table, you can pique his interest. So, you know, that fight would be so big because you'll have the entire boxing community plus the MMA community all tuning into this one fight, you know. So you're talking millions and millions of people to see this fight, you know. So and then it's just an interesting fight, you know. People don't even think Conor's going to win, but they just want to. It's interesting. They want to see how is this going to turn out.
Could there be any racism with that fight too? I mean, Floyd is black, Conor's white.
Oh yeah,
That has a play in it too.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be some of that, you know, mixed up in there. Yeah.
Right. Now, okay, have you ever thought about moving into MMA or UFC type of stuff?
No. I grapple a little bit though, you know, just to learn it, you know, just in case, you know, somebody ever try to grab me up, you know.
Right.
But as far as like trying to do it as a sport, no.
Right, as a living?
No.
Sticking with the boxing.
Sticking with the boxing, yeah.
Okay, now risk versus reward. What's the biggest risk you took for your boxing career so far?
When I went overseas, I was a little nervous about that. You know what I mean? I was like, you know, because when they first brought the idea to me, they were like, yeah, we want you to go to England, and blah blah blah. You know, stay for a while and you know fight these fights. Da 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 da. You know, I had never been over there before. So this was all new territory to me, you know, and I was a little nervous about that. But I slept on it, and I was like, you know, let's do it.
Good decision?
Good decision. Good decision.
Proudest accomplishment so far in your boxing career?
While I was overseas, the president of the World Boxing Union, his name is Moose Lewis, or Don Moose Lewis, he saw me. He watched me compete, and that's how I got ranked with the World Boxing Union. So he saw me, and then you know that's what kind of really like put me on.
Now, what's the biggest misconception of you? What's one thing people think about you, but it just isn't true?
I would say that you know, some people may think I'm cocky, maybe. I'm not sure, but
arrogant.
Yeah, you know, but I'm really not. You know, very humble. You know, I'm so easy to get along with, so easy to talk to. You know what I mean?
You seem very soft-spoken in this interview.
Yeah, you know, I'm a real laid-back guy. You know, I do the best I can to, you know, help everybody and inspire everybody that's around me.
Craziest rumor you heard about yourself?
They were female related. You know, I heard rumors I was, you know, smashing this girl, or smashing that girl, and I was like, I don't even know these people. You know what I'm saying? So at first I was feeding into it, but then I was like, man, I'm not about to feed into this. You know.
Do you care what people think of you?
Not really.
Why not?
Not really. Because that'll drive you into depression. You know what I mean? If you walk around trying to please everybody or entertain what everybody thinks, you know what I mean? That'll drive you crazy. You know what I mean? Trying to prove yourself to everybody. I don't try to prove myself to anybody. You know, my job is to be the best that I can be. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm not competing with nobody. You know, I'm not even competing with any other fighter. You know what I'm saying? Some people be like, oh, I'm trying to be better than Floyd. I'm trying to be better than Jordan. I'm trying to be better. I'm just trying to be the best me. You know what I'm saying? That's my goal. You know.
What are your keys to success?
Consistency. If you got to stay with it. You know, and then you got to eliminate distractions too. So you can't have them both. You know what I mean? You can't want to be great, want to be successful, but you also want to be in the street. Well, it can't be great, want to be successful, also you want to be in the club all the time. Can't be great, want to be, you know what I mean? You got to pick a side, you know what I mean? But consistency is everything. Everything, every single day you got to dedicate something to your craft.